What's good on my Ruthless addicts? It's the girl Tika Deshawn ushering in Ruthless episode 8 review entitled Small Little Lies. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has decided to stop by here and hear the word of the Raku. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, All Things Ruthless. Hit the thumbs up so that your love will be counted, and smash that bell so that you will receive notification of all new content. Her way to Daikon. She walks up on him and he says, "What are you doing here?" Basically asking her, "Why are you following me? Why do you keep, tempting me? What is it that you're really all about?" He's at this point, Daikon literally trusts no one. So everybody has a motive to Daikon. Okay? So he says, "Okay, so you say I'm a good man. You say I did what I had to do for the Raku. Well, let me show you this." And so he shows her the bodies of the beaten cult members who tried to leave the Rakadushi compound. She's there. She's looking at him and she's stunned. There's no, she can't turn away, but she does turn away briefly. And, she composes herself. A tear comes down. But like I said, she composes herself. And, Daikon says to her, "Do you still think that I'm a good man?" And she says, "Yes, you are still a good man." And he said, "Well, why do you cry? Why are the tears?" And she says she's straight up honest with him. "I still have compassion," She says she still has compassion. And Daikon is just like, I think that Daikon is falling for Ruth, but he still has that brick wall up where he refuses to let his guard down, especially when it comes to the highest. He doesn't want anything to interfere with what he has going on with the highest. But at this point, it's a little bit too late for that. Ruth has struck and Daikon is slowly but surely falling. Okay, so then we have Melinda. Melinda has followed Ruth and she sees Ruth talking to Daikon. However, Daikon, being the ninja that he is, I keep telling y'all, Daikon is part ninja. Okay, but he looks over and he sees her. He sees Melinda and he tells her to come here, but she begins to run. And she's running and he begins to chase her. And then Ruth follows behind the two of them. And Daikon finally catches up with her and says, "What are you doing?" He questions her. And she finally, after a little bit of denial, she finally says that I was told to follow her. And, Daikon is like, "What do you mean you were told to follow her?" And so at this point, Daikon is just like, what in the world is going on? So after, as they're doing the chase and he catches up to Melinda, and Ruth says what she has to say, Daikon tells Ruth, "Go back to your trailer." And so, of course, because she's in front of the presence of company, Ruth says, "Yes, Daikon," and she returns back to her trailer. Then, at this point, Melinda's cell phone rings. And Daikon is like, "What is that? What are you doing with the cell phone?" And Melinda says, "Elder Mother Marva gave it to me." And at this point, Daikon is just like, you should not have a phone. Let's go see Marva. So they go to see Marva at her trailer. And Elder Mother Marva, she is, like I said, she doesn't like Daikon at all. So any little thing that she says to him or that he says to her, she's going to take it very, very personal. So, at the end of the day, Daikon's basically telling Elder Mother Marva, she should not have this phone because she could call anybody. She could tell them anything. And she explains to him, the highest approved it and that she's on an assignment. So she has the right to have the phone. I gave her the phone and the highest approved it. And, they're going back and forth Daikon is at the point where he's like, I am Daikon and I am the highest, his second, so you should be respecting me. But Marva has no respect for Daikon, none whatsoever. And so the phone rings, and Melinda is like, do I answer it? Do I, like, what do I do? Finally, Marva says, go ahead and answer the phone. And she says, put it on speaker. So she answers the phone, and they all hear Polk speaking. And it's just Polk trying to figure out where Melinda is and when can he see her, so on and so forth. And of course, because she's in front of Marva and Daikon, she has to play the role. Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll be there when you get home, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, I think that Daikon is totally losing control. Not only has Ruth been able to infiltrate him, Andrew is still on the ledge, but it's like no one really, really, truly respects him. Marva doesn't respect him. The highest is definitely losing respect for him. Like, he's pushing him to the side. He's constantly saying, you'll never be replaced. You'll never be replaced. But he's doing all these different little things to replace Daikon. So, at this point, I can kind of understand why Daikon has trust for no one. Literally no one. At this point, Daikon has lost it. He lets out a scream so loud that literally everyone at the Rakadushi compound can hear him. Even the girls who were attempting to escape, Lacey, Paula, and Zane, they hear his scream. And they're like, what is that? And Lacey finally says, that's Daikon, and he's looked like he's going to his trailer. But he never ends up going to his trailer. At the end of the day, Daikon, like I said, he has lost it. He screams out loud, and he scares the whole compound, and even the highest hears him screaming. It's just I'm pissed, so I'm gonna scream. I can't hit anybody, so I'm gonna scream right now. So anyway, again, we still have Lacey, Zane, Paula, discussing, what are they gonna do when they leave? And so Paula says she's going to go back, and she's going to go back to her mom. She wants to go back and talk to her mom. And, she explains that her mom was a holy roller. You know what they call a holy roller. One of those people who everything is, praise God, hallelujah. Every single thing that comes out of their mouth, that's what they do. The holy rollers. Okay, nothing against them. If that's what you are, and how you choose to serve and praise, then by all means do your thing. But at the end of the day, Paula says that Lacey actually interjects and says, go back to the father that raped you. And Paula says, Lacey says to Paula, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And actually it was Paula's stepfather who raped her. And she's like, yeah, but that's over now. I just want to go back home and be with her mom. And that's those are the things that they're talking about when when they finally leave the Rakadushi compound. It's sort of like when people get ready to get released from prison, they just start talking about all the things that they want to do after they get out of prison. Well, that's sort of like what this conversation brought to mind for me. Another thing that the lady said when they leave was that they wanted running water of toilet that actually flushed compared to what it is that they were, dealing with at the Rakadushi compound. So hopefully we'll get to see these ladies escape. There's always a timeline for everything with Tyler Perry. We love him so dearly, but it'll probably take 2 or 3 more episodes before they even make it to the car. That's not even saying get the car crunk. We're saying to get to the car. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so then we have River standing outside of he and Andrew's trailer. And Andrew comes out and, he says, I didn't even realize that you and I shared a trailer. But basically he was telling them, stop watching me. I know you're always watching me. When I'm trying to sleep, you watching me. And so River kind of mentioned something about bodies under trailers. And then he tried to play it off by saying bodies under trailers during the summertime. People are trying to get under the trailers so they can get cool. River, how long have you been there? You've been there through more than one summer to know that. But I'm wondering if River actually saw Andrew kill William and put him underneath that trailer. That's a very, very interesting thought that he would mention that to Andrew, saying that about people being up under the trailers. But we'll see. And of course, Andrew, being the FBI agent that he is, he questions River, like, what's your angle? Why are you, why are you here? And it's just question for question. And at the end of the day, River's still playing the whole game. He's not really telling why he's there. He's not telling about the money. He's not, and he's actually not trying to invite Andrew to join in on his little money scheme that he's trying to run. So we're going to see how much further River and Andrew get in their conversation. But anyway, River and Andrew has already told River, mind your business, stay out of my business, let me do what I do, you do what you do. So we'll see how much further that relationship goes. Okay, so then we have Marva. Marva is so upset by the conversation that she has just had with Daikon. And so Marva says basically she needs a drink. So we see Marva walking into the kitchen. It's almost like she's sneaking in there and looking around to make sure nobody else is in there and trying to watch her. And so she goes into the refrigerator and she gets this jar with a clear liquid in it. And she takes a little sip. And we already know that's that homebrew. Anybody from the South, they know what homebrew is. Anybody that's been to prison know what homebrew is, okay? Because it's made in the bag, and they use apples. I won't go any further. I'll just let you know that that's what it is. They have a special homebrew in that glass, and she was headed for it. So she sees, actually, Agnes walks into the kitchen and sneaks up on Marva and says, what are you doing? And at this point, Marva has already taken a sip. And, she lets her know, I just needed something to help me calm down because that darn Daikon, I just can't stand him. He gets on my nerves. And so, Agnes, she explained, she said, well, the red trailer were punished because of the others that tried to escape, and Elder Mother, so we know that the Elder Mother who was over the red trailer is not Marva, okay, which that was a question. But the Elder Mother, she's in the punishment trailer and has been in there since the highest returned from killing the ones that tried to escape. And so that's what Agnes explains. And she was like, well, I need something, I need something to help calm my nerves too. But I'm going to go talk to, then Marva says, I'm going to go talk to the highest. So she goes and she makes her way to get ready to talk to the highest. And she says, she finally goes and she sees Clark. She calls Clark the little liar. She says, my new name, that's going to be your new name, Little Liar. Even though we all know that Marva did try to make several passes at Clark and Oliver, but she has consistently denied every last one of them. So it seems at this point, whatever Marva says, it goes. But so anyway, she makes her way in to talk to the highest, and the highest, at this point, the highest is like, okay, whatever, let me just say whatever just to get rid of her. At this point, I don't understand what the relationship between Marva and the highest is. I wouldn't want to call it like a motherly figure, especially after knowing that the highest was molested by his own mother. But for some reason, Marva went in. She went in and she was complaining about Daikon calling her old lady and calling her Marva and not respecting her. And it's almost like the highest took her side. He literally was like, "Okay, I'll talk to Daikon. Why don't you?" So then he said to her, "Why don't you go to the kitchen and get you something to help you calm down?" And then she was like, "You are okay? I'll bring you something to calm down." He was like, "No, get yourself something to calm down." Um, I don't know if he was referring to food, but Marva was glad to get back to that kitchen so that she can get back to her little special brew or her little home brew in that little glass. And sure enough, that's exactly what she did. She made her way back to that trailer, the kitchen trailer, and her and Agnes was in there. And of course, they're going back and forth, cheers, and you know, because she's a little bit happier now that the highest has to talk to Daikon. So Marva took a sip, Agnes took a sip, Agnes took another sip and another sip, and Marva was like, "Okay, wait a minute now, let me get some, let me get my sip too." So then she handed the glass back to her. Yeah, those two ladies that was a hilarious scene between those two ladies. Um, and we'll see what the nature of the relationship between Marva and the highest is. I don't know if it's a respect thing because the highest don't seem to respect women. So that's puzzling me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens and why, basically what Marva says, Marva goes, Marva gets, you know what I mean? So we'll see. So since Clark is the guard outside of the highest's door, the highest tells Clark, "Go get Daikon. I'll need to speak with him." So Clark goes and finds Daikon, brings him. He ends up going to the highest's trailer, and he talks to him. He tells him about the Marvel situation, and basically, in a nutshell, he's telling him, "You need to respect her. Just stop calling her old lady. Just be respectful, so to speak." Even though he didn't say be respectful, he was just like, just don't call her Marvel. And and so Daikon is like, "All right, whatever you say, your highest." And so then the highest he says, you need basically back to this whole, I don't know, the dynamic. That's what's puzzling me, the dynamic as to why Marva receives the respect that she receives. Marva has tried to mess around with the men. She's lied. She's done so much, but she seems to get her way. So at the end of the day, I guess we'll find out, uh, what the plan really is with Marva. What's the deal really with Marva? Um, so at the end of the day, also, the higher says, that was a crazy trick that you did, you trying to trick Andrew and, having William say that he was a traitor. And he said, "Did you know that he killed William?" And for some reason, Daikon got this is the most, well, I've seen Daikon upset throughout the whole season, but, he was really like, what do you mean he killed him? And for some reason, it's a reaction. That's what I'm looking for, a reaction. I've never seen Daikon react like that to a person dying, and specifically William. So now Andrew, once again, is on Daikon's hot list because now you killed William. I'm trying to see, is was William one of his little lovers? What was he one of the kids? He was one of the people he was molesting. But he was like, how they always try to say don't mess with the kids, but they messing around with everybody, and each other. So we'll see. Why is it that Daikon is kind of having that reaction? So then we kind of fast forward to Sheriff Conley, Polk, and Irene. Sheriff Conley has Polk come into his office, and he tells him, I saw you, I know you were with that woman. I know you had sex in my office. I need you to tell me who she is. And, Polk just kind of like shrugs it off and says, oh, she's just some woman that came in here, needed help, and she offered me, she wanted to have sex with me, and so on and so forth. And Sheriff Conley kind of insulted, not kind of, he insulted Polk. It's like, look at you. Why would a woman, want really want to have sex from you or have sex with you without wanting something? And he didn't let in that Melinda and the other three went all through, the men, Clark and all of them went through the files and all that. He didn't let in on that. He just let him know, you can't be doing that. You can't be having sex, number one. You can't be having sex in my office. And then this is some random woman. You just can't be doing that. And they suckered you. They played you. You've been played. And he was like, no, I can call her right now. Let me just call her right now. I'm like, sheriff's like, no, don't even do that. But once the sheriff leaves his office, he tells Irene, go in there and talk to him. Talk some sense into him. But before she can get in there, she comes in, she tries to talk to him, the girl played you. We know y'all had sex. We know this, we know that. And she played you. So, you should just let it go. Polk, just let it go. And so, Polk, he's head over heels for Melinda for some reason. And he decides to try to call her. But of course, because Daikon has taken her phone, Melinda doesn't answer the telephone. And Polk, sits there looking with an extremely sad face. Poor Polk. He thought he had a chance, but unfortunately, this was the wrong woman. We'll see if Melinda resurfaces and Polk can figure all of this stuff out and figure out that she's part of the Rakadushi cult. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so then we make our way to Tally's trailer, and Yancey comes up to the window like a stalker, and he tries to grab Tally, and he puts his hand over her mouth so she doesn't scream, and she's like, just let me go or I will scream. And he finally kind of removes his hand. He was gonna snatch her through the window if he could have, but that was kind of deterred. He was like, you better meet me at the bus. I can tell you where the kids are. I can tell you what they're doing to the kids. And, Tally is sort of like thinking about it. But then she's like, I can't be fooling with you because you already lied to me one time. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to, do it again. So he went on about his way. But he basically was telling you still need to meet me at that bus. Yancey is on one. Like, he got something from Tally and he literally has lost his mind. His mind was probably already gone with the alcohol included. But yeah, he was just like, trying to make her interact with him, have sex with him. And she already told him, I'm not with it. So he's trying to hold it over her head. I'm going to tell the highest. And she's like, okay, well, tell the highest. Do what you got to do. And he has yet to go to the highest. So we'll see. As always, we'll see what Yancey's next move. We'll see what Tally's next move. And so Joan hears Tally, but this is after Yancey finally walks away. But she hears her, and Yancey says, Tally says, oh yeah, I just had a really bad nightmare. And Joan says, I don't have those anymore, and I used to have them. And, she says something about missing her kids, and, she just misses talking to her kids. She says she had an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're both at the Rakadushi compound, and she misses them. She hasn't, spoken to them since. So she has a daughter and a son that she hasn't been able to speak to. So, they finally kind of get a little bit of a breakthrough. Joan tells Tally, I know you're with me. And she just goes back to sleep. She's like, I know you're with me. And that's it. She goes back to sleep. So we'll see how that relationship changes, whether Tally will begin to trust Joan or will she continue to have her guard up with her. And finally, we come to Daikon and Andrew. Once again, Daikon goes to Andrew's trailer, tell him, come outside, let me talk to you. And Daikon's like, did you kill somebody today? And Andrew's like, what are you talking about? And he was like, did you kill somebody today? He said yes. And so Daikon says who? And he finally says William. And like I said, Daikon had this strange reaction to knowing that William has been killed. Not the fact that Andrew killed him, but the fact that he's dead. And so William is just like, Andrew is just like, I did it. He kind of explained to him the same thing he told the Hyas. He said that he was a traitor. He said that the Hyas was raping him, and he didn't want to, he killed him because he was trying to betray the trust of the Hyas and the Raku. So, Andrew was like, no, Daikon was like, well, let's go see the body. Y'all, show me where you left him at. He was like, I left him under that building, where the little unit is. So he was like, no, you come show me. So Andrew walks in front of him, and he's like, it's right there. He points to the little area, where he's supposed to be. And so Andrew says, Daikon says, like, he's stunned for a second. He's like, look, just look. And, the way that Daikon looked, I'm wondering, has that body been moved? Or is William still alive? But then my mind goes to where I started to think about where River, he mentioned, bodies under buildings, and he said that little thing to Andrew. I'm wondering, did River, if the body is not under there, I'm wondering if River moved that body, because he did mention something. So anyway, y'all, that's it. We'll see what happens in episode 9 of Ruthless. It's getting hot. That's all I can tell y'all. It's really getting hot. And I am so looking forward to the next episode. So that's about it, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Show your girl a little love. Show your girl Tika Deshawn some love. And also, if you're interested, tonight at 10 p.m., there's going to be an airing of a streaming of a movie called Blood Conscience, and it's not starring, but he's one of the cast members in it, Lenny Thomas. It looks pretty interesting. So after I watch that, the movie is about an hour and a half long. So after I watch that, I'm gonna come back here to YouTube, and I'm gonna review that. It looks a little scary. I'm not that scary movie type of girl, but I think I'll take one for the team this time, just so I can see what it's all about. It looks pretty interesting. So if you guys are interested in looking at it, it costs about $13 to view, but I put a link in the comments below, or in the description, in my description box. Just click on that link, or either copy and paste it to your web browser, and go ahead and you pay your money or whatever, and around 10 o'clock tonight you'll be able to stream the movie. So that's about it, y'all. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for showing your girl some love. Thank you to my new subscribers. It's so awesome to have subscribers. I went from 10 subscribers to almost a little bit over 100. So I'm excited. Any number is good for me. Increase is always good, So that's about it, y'all. Thank you guys for stopping by. And I'll see you guys next week. Deuces.